The 10 Pillars of Tibetan Buddhism. Their foundational role in the transmission of Buddhism to Tibet. Thurmi Samboda. Thurmi Samboda was born in Thur area of Yorwo, Lung in Tibet approximately in 619 CE. He demonstrated a very outstanding intelligence from a very young age. At the age of 15, he was sent to India by the Tibetan king Phuntsog Gampo, where he studied for 7 years. After returning from India, he developed the Tibetan script, which was derived from the Devanagari and other Indian scripts, and formulated the written Tibetan language for the first time. He became one of the most important ministers of the king. The great Tibetan translator Vairitsana was born in the Nemo area of central Tibet during the time of King Trisong Detsen. Vairitsana was born into the Paga clan. He was one of the first 7 Tibetan monks ordained by Shantrikshita. Padmasambhava recognized his outstanding qualities and potentials, and he was sent to India to study with Sri Simha. He also traveled widely in China, Khotan, Nepal, Shangshung, and elsewhere. He also is one of the 3 main masters to bring the Dzogchen teachings to Tibet. Kawa Paltsek. Kawa Paltsek was a direct student of both Padmasambhava and Shantrikshita. He was one of the most important contributors to the translation of the Tibetan Tripitaka and the Nyingma Jayubam. He was born in the Phenpo Valley and became an eminent translator in accordance with a prophecy by Padmasambhava. Chokro Lui Gyaltsen. Chokro Gyaltsen was an early Tibetan translator of great importance and one of the 25 disciples of Padmasambhava. He worked very closely with the great Indian masters Vimalamitra, Jainanagarbha, Jinamitra, and Shundrabodhi. He is very important to the continuation of the Vinaya lineage, monastic lineage, in Tibet. The great Turturn Karma Lingpa, 14th century, is regarded as a reincarnation of this great master. Yishe Dai. Yishe Dai was a great Tibetan translator and disciple of Padmasambhava. He participated in the translation of more than 200 texts into Tibetan and was one of the greatest translators of Tibet. According to Nyingma legend, he was a master of the Vajrakilya Tantra, and is said to have realized the illusory nature of phenomena and cut the cord of mind-made karmic conditioning, which left him free to soar in the sky like a bird. Lotchen Rinchen Zangpo. Lotsawa Rinchen Zangpo was born in Nari region of Western Tibet in 957 CE. Rinchen Zangpo had been sent as a young man by King Yesho, with other young scholars to Kashmir and other Buddhist centers to study and bring back Buddhist teachings to Western Tibet. He was possibly the single most important person for the second propagation of Buddhism in Tibet. Also known as Mahaguru, was a principal Lotsawa or translator of Sanskrit Buddhist texts into Tibetan during the second diffusion of Buddhism in Tibet. Rinchen Zangpo was the first translator of the New Translation School or New Mantra School period, which began in the late 9th and early 10th century. He is said to have built over 100 monasteries in Western Tibet, including the famous Tabo Monastery in Spiti, Himachal Pradesh, Pu Monastery in Kinnaur, Rinchenling Monastery in Nepal, Alchai Sumda and Manju monasteries in Ladakh, India. Dromten Gyalwang Jugnis. He was born in Western Tibet in 1005 and was named Cheerful. He took lay vows with Nanam Dorje Wangchuk, who gave him the name Gyalwai Yungni. He studied the Madhyamaka philosophy tantras and other teachings from Khenpo Setsun. He studied Sanskrit with the great Indian master Smriti Jainana. In 1042, at the age of 38, he went to Purang to meet Atisha Dipamkara and became his chief Tibetan disciple. At the age of 54, he founded Redang Monastery. He built the stupa for the relics of Atisha when he passed away. He became the main lineage holder of the Kadampa tradition of the Atisha. Lutsawa Lodin Sherab. Lutsawa Lodin Sherab was born in 1059. He studied with many Indian Panditas for 17 years, and then returned to Tibet in 1092 CE. One of the most renowned translators in Tibetan history, and traditionally known as one of the 10 pillars of Tibetan Buddhism. 2 versions of the Ratnagotra were translated by Lodin Sherab at Srinagar in Kashmir under the supervision of Kashmiri Pandits Ratnavajra and Sajjana towards the close of the 11th century CE. He translated the Pramana literature and Episomeralamkara literature and made a great contribution to the Buddhism of Tibet. He is also known as Mataprajna. Sakya Pandita. Sakya Pandita was a Tibetan spiritual leader and Buddhist scholar, and the 4th of the 5 forefathers of Sakya. Kunga Gyaltsen is generally known simply as Sakya Pandita, or Sapang, given to him, in recognition of his scholarly achievements and knowledge of Sanskrit. He is held in the tradition to have been an emanation of Manjusri, the embodiment of the wisdom of all the Buddhas. At the age of 23, he received the full monastic ordination from Panchen Shakya Sri Bhadra. At the age of 25, he became the throne holder of the Sakya and taught Dharma for many years. Gurkukpa Laitse. Gurkukpa Laitse was born in the Tsan region of central Tibet and was a contemporary of Marpa Lutsawa. He first studied in Tibet and then traveled to Kashmir, central India and Nepal. He studied with 72 Panditas of India and mastered the Sanskrit language and Buddhist teachings. Most interested in the Guhyasamaja Tantra, which he assiduously promulgated in Tibet. The Guhyasamaja Tantra, along with the Kalachakra Tantra and the Yamantaka Tantra, one of the highest yoga tantras. He composed several commentaries on the Yamantaka Tantra and performed the ceremony of Yamantaka according to the Nyingma rites. He translated many scriptures into Tibetan and contributed to the translation effort of Kangya and Tangya. He is one of the most important translators in the new translation school, after Lochen Rinchen Sangpo.